Jai Shri Ram. This is day 7 of Valmiki Ramayana for Kids by Pranav Shankar. Yesterday we covered Rama's search for Sita, Rama's meeting with Jatayu, Rama's partaking of Shabari's fruit, Rama's friendship with Sugriva, Rama and Sugriva's promise to help each other, Sugriva's backstory with Vali, the discovery of Sita's jewels, and Rama's display of his strength and ability to kill Vali. Convinced of Rama's prowess and valor, Sugriva challenged Vali to a fight. Surprised at Sugriva's audacity, Vali decided to teach him a lesson. The two brothers fought fiercely as Rama hid behind a tree in a dense forest. Rama had planned to shoot an arrow at Vali and kill him on the spot, but he could not release the arrow as he was unable to distinguish Vali from Sugriva due to the close resemblance of the two brothers. Wounded and bleeding, Sugriva fled to Rishyamukha hill for safety. Rama explained to Sugriva his difficulty at the fight and requested Sugriva to fight again with Vali, this time wearing a garland around his neck as an identification. Sugriva went to Kishkinda a second time and called Vali for a fight. The two brothers battled again with each other for a long time. When Rama saw Sugriva showing signs of weakness, he sent his arrow at Vali from his concealed position and killed him. Lying on the ground and his deathbed, Vali was still breathing when he saw Rama approaching him with his bow and arrow, and reproached him for this unjust action. Rama justified his killing and helped Vali see his own crimes. At the end of their conversation, Vali sought forgiveness from Rama. With Angada, his son, clasping his feet, and Tara, his wife, by his side, Vali breathed his last. The final rites of Vali were performed with due respect. Rama instructed that Sugriva be installed on the throne as the king of Kishkinda and Angada as the Yuvaraja or crown prince. However, Rama himself did not enter Kishkinda and kept his promise to his father of living in the forest and keeping out of the limits of a village or town. He stayed with Lakshmana in a cave near Kishkinda, waiting for the rainy season to be over. At last, the rainy season came to an end. Sugriva called Nala and gave orders to collect all the Vanaras or monkeys in the kingdom within 2 weeks. The army of Vanaras assembled at Kishkinda. Sugriva divided the Vanaras into 4 groups and sent them in 4 directions. He gave detailed instructions to the chiefs on the search operations and offered an elaborate description of the places they would traverse. Sugriva was well versed in the geography of the country, as he had travelled far and wide seeking a place of safety when Vali drove him out of the kingdom. He asked the leaders of each search party to thoroughly search for Sita and return with information about her. As Sugriva had seen the chariot carrying Sita going towards the southern direction, he hoped he would find her in the south. Rama, too, agreed with Sugriva's view and was pleased that Sugriva had included Hanuman in the southbound army. He gave his ring to Hanuman to show it to Sita upon finding her and convince her that he was sent by Rama. The monkey chiefs assigned to the east, west, and north returned without any lead or information on Sita's whereabouts. The southbound Vanaras, too, did not succeed in their efforts. Sampati, an eagle seated on a high post in the neighborhood, saw this group of Vanaras emerging from a cave unsuccessful. Sampati's attention, however, was drawn when he heard about Jatayu, his brother. He introduced himself to the Vanaras and told them his story in exchange for theirs about his brother. When Angada asked whether he knew about Sita, Sampati informed that he had once seen a woman being carried away by Ravana. Using his far vision, Sampati discovered that Sita was in Ashokavanam, in the country of Lanka, which was about 800 miles or 100 yojanas from the southern shores. Angada and others were convinced about the truth of Sampati's statements. With fresh energy and enthusiasm, they proceeded further south and reached the Indian Ocean. Seeing the vastness of the ocean, they felt depressed as they saw it beyond their capacity to cross it. However, Angada asked each one of them to declare their capacity to leap. Each one improved the figure of the previous Vanara. Jambavan, the oldest and the wisest among them, said he could do 720 miles, or about 90 yojanas. Angada informed that he could leap across and reach Lanka, but doubted his strength to leap back the same distance. At this point, Jambavan saw Hanuman sitting on a rock. He reminded Hanuman of his enormous strength and told Hanuman his past life story. Hanuman was born to Anjana and Vayu, the god of wind. He had all the powers of his father. Once, when he saw the rising sun as a child, Hanuman sprung up in the sky to pluck the sun, thinking of it as a mango. Indra, concerned for the safety of the sun, hurled his Vajrayudam, or his personal weapon, at Hanuman and damaged Hanuman's chin. From that day, Hanuman got this very name, meaning one with a broken chin. Vayu was enraged at the hurt caused to his son and stopped his functioning. Brahma and the other devas panicked and prayed to Vayu to relent and forgive and resume his functioning. Vayu did and restarted his work. Pleased with Vayu, they all granted boons to Hanuman. Encouraged and convinced of his capacity, Hanuman prepared himself for the great leap across the ocean. Sundarakandam. Hanuman offered his salutations to various gods, his father, Vayu, Rama, and Lakshmana, for the success of his endeavor. Hanuman then pressed down on Mount Mahendra with his feet and struck it with his hands to get the lift for the great leap. Lashing his tail on the ground, he pressed down and took off for Lanka. Jai Shri Ram.